Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your semi-bi-weekly injection of local news. It's falling apart, this slogan, Rob. We need to sort that out. But look, this is episode 339. We're recording on the 20th of June. And before I say hello to Rob properly, I should say that at the moment I'm down in Dorset with my parents. If my voice sounds slightly different this week, it's because I'm not in my usual setup, so it might sound a bit more echoey. I don't know, there might be a bit more ambient noise, hopefully not, but just to explain, that is what is going on. Hello, Rob. I understand you didn't really sleep well last night, Rob, but doing this podcast regardless, like the trooper you are, and I should also say happy Father's Day, because you are now a father.
Yeah, thank you. Your message this morning was appreciated. Yes, it's Father's Day, and I am a father. Still haven't quite come to terms with it, but there we go. I had a card this morning from my daughter, which was very much appreciated. And
it wasn't from her, though, was it, Rob?
Sorry, what? Unless
she's a prodigy.
Well, I mean, Alex, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there is a possibility that could be the case. She has always, she has also managed to master the first 9 of Beethoven's symphonies, but I'm sure that's quite average.
Have you thought about doing Rob, doing what some of these parents do and thinking, right, I'm just going to pick something for you to be good at and I'm going to pummel you with this until you're like world champion in whatever, like tennis, badminton, football, I don't know, violin, snooker. Could be anything, Rob. But have you, do you want to go that route? Being that kind of dad.
Definitely, yeah. I think for me, her chosen profession is going to be real estate. I need a house desperately, and I've realised that it's beyond my means. So if I can, ensure that she's, shit hot in the world of real estate and really is able to get those bargains and to flip those properties. It could also be property development. I don't really care as long as she can get me a house.
So basically, this is a long-term 18-year plan because she'll be able to be a real estate agent by the time she's 18. I guess. I guess you could go into it when you're 16. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so 16-year plan. That's good. Shaved a couple of years off already.
Exactly. I mean, let's face it. We know that, and I don't think this is a generalisation. A lot of estate agents, how do I put this, may not have had a university degree, and they may have dropped out of school and found themselves in that business. So yeah, I think 16 is realistic, if not earlier.
On the week, Rob, that it was revealed that Boris Johnson had called Matt Hancock fucking hopeless in a WhatsApp message with Dominic Cummings, it seems appropriate to mention that Matt Hancock, were he not the Secretary of State for Health, could very easily be an estate agent.
Oh, God, yes.
He has every characteristic of your typical estate agent, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. A complete personality void and just that blank, vacant stare. I mean, it's all there, Alex.
Yeah. Did you know as well that I think I emailed it to you. You never replied. I know we don't normally email each other, but about a week ago I emailed you a story about Dominic Cummings. Did you see it? Where on his blog, he is basically now offering this subscription model where you pay him like £10 a month and he says he'll give you juicy sort of gossip. It really is so tawdry, Rob. And I think he used that performance at the select committee just basically as a precursor to launch his subscription model on his blog. I mean, it's truly awful, Rob.
But again, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that, I mean, let's face it, Dominic Cummings, a lot like Boris Johnson, is an opportunist, and will use whatever he can to further his career. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Okay, Rob, is there any news before we crack on with this podcast?
No, not so much. The only thing I think, just to say, I think we discussed in the last episode that 340 even will be a listener episode, and I think that's still holding true. We have got a bit of a backlog, so yeah, let's make that a listener episode. So again, listeners, we've already got a substantial amount of stories, but please keep them coming in so we can really pick the cream of the crop.
Good.
What's with the terrifying teddy?
On this desk that I'm in my parents' study, there appears to be a basket of old teddy bears. So I was just holding one up to the camera to disturb Rob's equilibrium. Okay, Rob, I'm going to start off the podcast, and I've got a story here from Idaho, the United States. This is from the East Idaho News paper.
Okay.
It's by Eric Crossarth, who works for East Idaho News. It's from their Crime Watch section. It was published on the 20th of May, so it is slightly out of date by about a month. But never mind, because it's a good story. Suspect falls from Subway restaurant ceiling with stolen deli meat, police say.
Right, so first of all, we have that man who broke into McDonald's, obviously to steal their cash, but then demanded a McDonald's breakfast. Unfortunately, it passed the I'm about to say the morning threshold, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was in the UK, that one, wasn't it?
That was in the UK. So this man broken in with the intention of stealing meat.
Well, basically, Rob, the Idaho Falls Police Department was looking for the alleged suspect, Jesse James Moore, 38, a suspect in 2 theft cases from earlier that day. The search was a rather unique one, allegedly involving children's bicycles, stolen deli ham, and the suspect locking himself in a woman's bathroom in an attempt to escape into the ceiling of a Subway restaurant, according to an affidavit of probable cause. So, Rob, the search had begun earlier Tuesday when a woman called officers around 6 p.m. saying someone stole her son's BMX bicycle at the skate park on Rolladette Avenue. A man, allegedly wearing a Tyrannosaurus Rex t-shirt, I love these details, came up to her son and asked to buy the $480 bike. The boy declined, and when he turned around for a second, the unknown man got onto the bike and rode away. Brilliant, Rob. You can't beat that ruse.
Is there a possibility this man was trying to organise a children's party? I'm really concerned that, you know, his son or daughter's birthday was coming up. He realised he left at the last minute, and he thought, well, my son would probably love a bike. So he goes and obviously can't pay top dollar, so he tries to get a second-hand bike. Then realising, you know, he needs to provide some sort of meal for the party. So then obviously was stealing meat from Subway. Do you think that's likely?
It's possible. Rob, I had many bikes growing up, 2 of which were stolen. And I'll never forget it. And we've talked about that on the podcast before, Rob. But did you know, I know like our upbringings were different. Did you have any sort of did you have anything, Rob, that you could use to move around in that had wheels?
Well, I was once put in a rubbish bin and rolled down the street. Does that count?
No, because you were the wheel. It didn't have wheels attached to it. That's different, Rob. That's very different.
Right,
anyway,
okay,
back to the story. At 9 p.m. that day, the Idaho Falls Police Department went to Winco Foods after a man reported someone had stolen his Harley-Davidson motorcycle after he went inside to buy groceries. So, Rob, he stepped it up here. On the same day, he's nicked a bike, and then he's gone, no, I'm not having this. I reckon he rode off on this kid's bike. He was like, this isn't fast enough. This is too much effort. I'm going to steal a Harley-Davidson, which is what he did. In place of his motorcycle, so this man comes out of Winco Foods to find his Harley-Davidson, not a cheap piece of equipment, Rob, missing. In its place is the BMX bike that the guy had stolen earlier.
So, I mean, in some ways that's quite considerate. So at least he can get home. I mean, again, not to cast aspersions on the owners of Harley Davidsons, but usually they tend to be, quite manly men. I think that's fair to say. You know, when I think of Hell's Angels, for instance, I always imagine they're riding Harley Davidsons. But then also, in contrast, the idea of this leather-clad biker riding around on a stolen BMX is quite fitting.
I think we're getting a bit of an insight, Rob, into some of your sexual fantasies.
I wish I could disagree with that, but that's pretty much what they are.
I just like the way, Rob, this guy is sort of trading up each time, right? Engaged in trade. So the first trade is, I'm going to trade you nothing for your BMX bike, right? Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to trade you a BMX bike for your Harley Davidson. So let's hear if he managed to trade up from there. So as police investigated, the woman whose son's bike was stolen, not the Harley Davidson, the pedal bike, Rob, called officers saying someone named Jesse James could have also stolen the motorcycle. Police then considered Moore the suspect in both thefts. So they put 2 and 2 together, Rob. Additional officers arrived in the area and searched for Moore. The motorcycle owner found the stolen Harley Davidson parked in front of Planet Fitness on Woodruff Avenue, just across the street from Winco. So bear in mind, Rob, he's stolen the Harley Davidson from Winco. Across the street is Planet Fitness. That's where they found the bike he'd stolen. This guy ain't too bright, Rob.
I'm concerned that they caught him out the back, trying to maneuver a running machine out the emergency exit or something.
Well, the owner said of the motorcycle said the fuel cutoff switch was on and the bike would not have run for very long if the suspect did not know this. So presumably he tried to ride it off. It didn't really go anywhere, so he just parked it outside Planet Fitness.
Yep.
Officers then spotted Moore walking towards the Subway. When I say Subway, I mean the fast food restaurant, if you can call it that, in the same parking lot as the gym. Moore went into the sandwich shop and locked himself in the woman's restroom. Police heard rustling inside and Moore refused to come out. Additional sounds came from the restroom, which indicated he might have been trying to get into the ceiling. The owner of the Subway then kicked open the restroom door. So, fuck the police, he's taking charge.
Alex, let's face it, that member of staff has been waiting for that moment all his life.
Totally. Where was I? Officers rushed inside and found pieces of the ceiling around Moore, who lay on the ground having fallen from the ceiling. Moore refused to come out of a clothes stall and police pulled him out by his feet. Moore was wearing the same dinosaur t-shirt as reported earlier, according to the police. Inside the ceiling, where he had been hiding, they found his shoes and a knife. And the police department spokeswoman, Jessica Clements, said police also found, in quotes, a large wad of ham wrapped in butcher paper while searching him.
I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, I've never worked in Subway, but is there ham wrapped in butcher's paper? That I mean, not to cast aspersions on the quality of ham that Subway use, but I don't believe it's come straight from a butcher.
Well, Rob, the best part of this story, even though it is the story that keeps on giving, is the next sentence.
Right.
The Subway employees reported that the man had been in the store earlier that day several times and had actually come behind the counter, filled out an application for a job, and attempted to help them with service.
Oh, brilliant.
So hang on a minute. Has he just forced his way back? So he said, look, have you got a job? They've said, well, maybe. He's just gone round there, filled out his application, but then he's insisted on helping them. Let me show you how I can do this. Let me show you what a craftsman I am, an artisan I am when it comes to making sandwiches.
Also, can I just remind you that in Subway, they do refer to their employees as sandwich artists. So
yes, they do. Yeah. Well, when Moore reportedly left the store, they noticed a stack of deli meat missing. So that had been his whole ruse. Apply for a job, nick some meat.
Makes sense. I mean, let's face it, I think we'd all do it.
Well, they've arrested him, Rob. They've taken him to county jail. He's charged with felony grand theft for the motorcycle, misdemeanor petty theft for the bicycle. He's also charged with misdemeanor malicious injury to property for the damage done to the restaurant, as well as another count of petty theft for the ham. Although Moore is accused of crimes, it does not necessarily mean he committed them. Everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That's not my words. That's the words of the journalist.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, he may not have committed them, but in this situation, it looks likely that he has.
Yes. Can I read you some comments?
Of course.
Because we don't get as many as we used to. Ammonite simply says, seems like someone who has absolutely given up on any kind of meaningful life.
I mean, we've covered stories whether that really is the case. I mean, that seems a bit harsh in this particular instance.
Rob, there's somebody here with you and me with our sense of humour. Travis Molecule, which, by the way, needs to go on our name.
Travis Molecule, fantastic.
Yeah. If I didn't know better, this would be one of us posting this. Did you post this, Rob? Listen, trading up. BMX bike to motorcycle to, ? What's next? An airplane? It's the graduation theory, Rob.
Alex, first of all, that man is clearly being facetious. If anything, it would be from a motorbike to a car, then a car to maybe an ambulance, ambulance to a transit to an articulate lorry to maybe like a trawler to like a ferry to a 747.
And then to a rocket.
Exactly, and then he blows himself into space. Not a euphemism.
Mikey says the crackheads are getting out of control here.
Okay.
You know. Down the middle says, thank goodness they included a stock photo of ham. That's helped clear up the last 4 questions I had about this story.
Did they really? Did they really put a stock photograph in?
Yeah, of Ham. Yeah, just in case you didn't know what it looked like, Rob.
Lovely, lovely.
I hope you haven't got this story, Rob. I hope that you've been too dazed and confused with the nascent stages of fatherhood to even be aware of this story.
Okay.
But I have gone, Rob, to the source because it was reported nationally. This is one of my favourite stories of recent times. It is a quintessential local anaesthetic story. And I, Rob, have the story from the Warrington Guardian. Yes, a paper I do not believe we have ever featured before. Ever.
No, that's news to me.
Well, you might want to say, Rob, that it's mews to me, or even better, it's meows to me. I don't know if this is making sense. This is a cat-related story from the 15th of June, and it's by, Rob, Louis Dean, trainee reporter, which basically means I've only got to pay him £3 an hour, right?
But, Alex, this could be his big break.
Well, it will be. It will be, Rob. I'm not going to read the headline. Now, I need to warn you, Rob, it's about a dead cat, and we don't normally cover death on this podcast. We try to avoid it.
What? I mean, that is patently bullshit. I mean, we spent years covering the Croydon cat killer. So
no, I don't mean that, but I mean, that was different because that was more, the story wasn't about the dead cats. It was more about the killer.
Okay, yeah, fair. I accept that.
We do have a policy. We do have an absolute blanket policy on no human death stories. Animals are a bit more murky. It depends on the story. Yeah?
Yeah, like Buddy and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, I don't know that would get past the censors now. I mean, I don't know, Rob. You know, those were the early heady days, Rob, when we didn't give a shit. That's
a good point. But Alex, I mean, the way things are going in civilization, I feel that, that those things are even more, what's the word, acceptable, really. But right. That's not the point right now.
Right, well, Rob, Frankie, a 16-year-old cat from Stretton, did not come home, Rob, on the evening of May 19th.
Right.
So that is sad. You just imagine, Rob, your cat Socks not coming home.
Alex, for fuck's sake, Socks is dead. you need
Oh, no, okay, yeah. Moo. Imagine Moo going out. Tell me Moo's okay.
She doesn't go out. She's an indoor cat.
Okay, forget it. Frankie, a 16-year-old cat from Stretton, didn't come home on the evening of May 19th. After a few days, his family became worried. That was my first question. I'd be worried quicker than a few days, wouldn't you? I think one day of not coming home, I'd start to think, hang on a minute. I'd be worried.
Yeah, I mean, cats do their own thing, but usually I think, I know my cat's enough to say if he's out for more than a couple of hours, that would be a concern for me.
Right. Well, they searched all over the area for him, Rob, and even had the help of lots of residents. After driving back from Lymm on the motorway, Frankie's owner Rachel Fitzsimmons spotted a dead cat on the hard shoulder. Rachel and her husband, John, got as close as they could to the cat, but they couldn't tell if it was him. They tried to take a picture to zoom in, but the cat had been too badly injured to be identified. Rachel said the markings matched Frankie. We live close to the motorway, so unfortunately we were sure it was him. She rang the highways agency, and after the weekend, workers went out to check the dead animal. They retrieved him. They said it was a fluffy tabby cat with white markings, which matched Frankie's description. The highway agency took the cat to the compound, and the heartbroken family, Rob, had the feline cremated. Now, were I to end that story there, that's just a sad story, isn't it? And really, you're thinking, why is Alex reading this out? Well, here's what's coming next, Rob. Rachel's 7-year-old son put the ashes of Frankie by his bed, as usually slept with Frankie on his bed every night.
That's touching, Alex. That's really touched me.
But a few mornings later, John came running to the back door, not a euphemism, as he thought he heard Frankie. And there he was. He was bedraggled and very thin, meowing to come in, as if nothing had happened. We all cried. We are still in shock. He's so lucky. We would like now to know whose pet we have cremated.
Okay.
That's the end of the story. Headline is Cat returns home after family thought they cremated him.
I mean, I think by law you have to have a cat microchip these days. surely you would have done some things trying to identify the cat.
Apparently, when the highway agency took him to the compound, they were unable to scan the cat's chip. It was too badly damaged.
Oh, okay, right, fair
But
enough.
he matched the markings. So, they went to this funeral, Rob. They mourned, they grieved, they cremated him. But it's somebody else's cat. It's not their cat, Rob.
Alex, just imagine if it wasn't someone else's cat. Just imagine if, and just go with me here. Just imagine if this cat is the savior of catkind.
No. The cat that was cremated, the ashes are still there. He hasn't sort of returned from the dead, Rob.
Alex, you didn't let me get to the pun. This could be Fleezus.
My God.
Cats get fleas.
I think that could be blasphemous, Rob, to be perfectly honest. In a strict... I do, I'm not,
I mean,
Rob,
Alex, I'm not saying it's Jesus. I'm saying it's the cat version of Jesus.
Rob wants to be very clear. He doesn't want all this again. He's not comparing this dead cat or this alive cat to Jesus in any way, right?
No, I'm just saying that there's this cat that's come back from the dead is coming to leave to lead the cats out of human servitude to cat nirvana.
Rob, I can spot, as can you now, an episode title from a very far way off. I hear in this comment, which is already brilliant, this comment, this is one of my favourite episode titles ever, and you'll know it when you hear it in there.
Okay.
We are having this as our episode title. There is no dispute. I'm going to pull rank. Right, this comment is by Brick Bazooka, who just quotes the article and said, "We'd like to know whose pet we have cremated." And they say, "Good luck with that. Would be funny, wouldn't it, if somebody came forward with a matching cat description and you gave them the ashes only for their lost cat to turn up a week later too." This could be a never-ending story of dead cat madness. So,
yeah, okay.
A never-ending story of dead cat madness. That's up there in our top 10 already. Yeah?
Yeah, can't disagree.
Pecan Thighs says, Pet Cemetery. That's all I want to say. Observer 50 makes a very, what's the word? Intellectual joke, I would say, Rob. You've got to know quantum physics to understand this. He just simply says, perhaps the dead cat was Schrodinger's.
I mean, it's a good point because technically there's a cat in two states. Unfortunately, you've got both states in front of you. Oh, yeah, it actually works. Yeah, very, very clever. Yeah,
the cat is dead, but is not dead. Freeborn John said, "I don't know what's dafter, them getting the environmental agency out over a dead cat instead of just picking the thing up themselves, or the environmental agency for playing along with them." Muckerman says, "Great, happy stroke sad story. Even made its way onto the Jeremy Vine show this afternoon. Sad to hear about the dead cat on the M56, but great news, Frankie is back. Hope you spoil him in his later years." Right.
The dead cat on the M56. There's a Sherlock Holmes story that never was.
Now, Rob, last story. Again, we're going local, Rob. We are going local, my friend, to Birmingham. Birmingham? The Birmingham Live website.
Can I ask, does the Birmingham Live website have a nice little pride rainbow in the top left-hand corner?
With love is love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. This is by Kelly Ashmore, 13th of June, 2021. Bizarre sign claims Sedgley has seen 3 alien abductions and blames council for not helping.
Right. Has John Mooner moved?
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. A bizarre sign that claims 3 people have been abducted by aliens has popped up in Sedgley. Sedgley... What was the name of Tony Blair's constituency, Rob?
Sedgefield.
Different
That's County Durham.
That's it. A large panel with black stenciled writing also accuses Dudley Council of not doing enough to stop the, in quotes, abductions. I shall read you the sign, which I'm looking at now. It's in the middle of a woodland area. It's a large sign. It says, 3 alien abductions here in 1 week. When are the council going to do something?
I mean, I'll be honest, Alex, I've never been to Dudley. Never really wanted to. But at the same time, I would imagine that the Dudley Council doesn't do enough to investigate alien or UFO sightings.
I agree. The local authority said it was aware of the mysterious sign, which it said would be removed. A council officer... Wait, Rob. A council officer contacted by the Daily Star Sunday reportedly told them, off the record, anonymously, there is definitely something going on with UFO activity in the West Midlands, but no one would ever go on the record to confirm that. But as for alien abductions in Sedgley, I'm not so sure about that. Rob, this is big.
I just want to ask there. So the publication, I believe you said the Daily Star on Sunday. Is that correct?
The Daily Star Sunday, yeah.
Okay, fine. So this absolutely happened, in which case.
UFO believers reckon the region is the centre of alien activity within the UK. Dozens of sightings have been reported in the area in recent years, and websites have been created so people can log extraterrestrial spots. That's something I'd like to do on the weekend, Rob. Just putting some random shit into that. Just make up stuff.
Oh, that's a great suggestion.
Lisa, who lives in Solihull, claims she saw... Now, can I just say, Rob, these reports are very similar to the one that I saw over a park that was local to me where I was growing up. And I've told you that when I was 13, 14. It's not a joke that I said I saw this. I did see it. I saw exactly what these people are describing. She says she saw an orange flickering ball in the sky while she was in her front garden. My immediate thought was it looked like a plane on fire, but it clearly wasn't, she said. It moved far too fast to be a plane. We live near the flight path, so we're used to seeing planes. I watched it for only a few seconds and saw it travelled across the sky, not down, reduced in size, then disappeared. Meanwhile, amateur...
Can I just... I need to come in there. So she saw an orange flickering ball in the sky that travelled across the sky before disappearing.
Yeah, not the sun, you donut.
I'm just saying, Alex.
Meanwhile, amateur astronomer Adam had trained his telescope on Jupiter to watch a satellite trail across the sky when he saw a white light. He said, he trained his telescope on Uranus. Yeah, that's it. No.
Sorry, could there be any more euphemisms in here?
It was a joke.
I realise that's a joke. Yeah, I do realise that's a joke.
I know. He said, suddenly a white light flew across the sky at a speed I've never seen before in any man-made tech. I didn't hear a boom, as expected with such speed, just a faint hum. It was no meteor. It was also very low. The light was very bright. I saw it for 3 seconds before it travelled across the entire sky and out of sight. Adam said it was something he'd never seen in 18 years of stargazing and is convinced he witnessed extraterrestrial life, but never told anyone for fear he would not be believed. Now, I'm more inclined to believe him, Rob, because anybody who's watching the sky at night, every year for however many years, they kind of know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
Another UFO watcher witnessed what he believed was alien activity from his 16th floor flat in Birmingham. Scott said there was a huge light in the sky. It was the size of a full moon, moving slowly towards Wolverhampton. It was bright yellow in colour and almost perfectly round. Okay, comments, Rob. World War Who Cares, which is just a great commenter name, says, I live down the road. They can take the whole village as far as I'm concerned. Zuma right. Says, yes, it sounds ridiculous, especially the way this has been reported. I must admit I was sceptical about these crazy reports until I heard about a couple of cases where people claimed they were abducted for several weeks, monitored, interrogated, before being dumped back on terra firma. Linbad says, Scott said there was a huge light in the sky. It was the size of a full moon moving slowly towards Wolverhampton. It was bright yellow in colour and almost perfectly round. And they just say the size of a full moon moving slowly, bright yellow, almost perfectly round. Now, what might that describe? It was the moon, Scott. That's what it was. It's a good point. Somebody here, Big Bob.
It was a good point when I made it literally a couple of minutes ago. But whatever. Big
Bob 48 says, I went to Sedgley a few years back and had a close encounter of the third kind myself. Not sure what they're referring to there, but I think they might be.
No. It doesn't bear any further investigation, Alex.
Ted Ferret. No, I think they were making aspersions against the good women of Dudley, Rob.
Alex, I wouldn't like to be drawn on the subject.
Right. Well, anyway, look. Last comment. Got to read it out. Best comment of the week. Ted Ferret, which is also a great commenter name, just simply says,
"Yep."
They went first. They went to Dudley first, but found no signs of life, so went elsewhere.
Again, I'm not going to be drawn on the subject.
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us there.
I have indeed. Now, I'm going to continue the trend. I mean, this has been a very local news heavy episode, Alex. We should be proud of ourselves. I feel that we've covered a lot of local news stories for the first time in a while.
Indeed.
But I'm going to continue with that trend. So I'm going to cover a story from, and it's been a while, from the Gloucestershire Live.
The Citizen? Did I get that right?
Yes, I mean the Citizen obviously is a smaller paper.
Oh,
the Gloucestershire Live is.
Oh,
so it takes into. I mean, it's one of the papers that feeds into the Gloucestershire Live.
so I got that completely wrong. The Citizen is the Citizen.
Well,
Damn it.
Well, it's fine. I mean, I know the Citizen stories go onto this site, so it's fine, Alex.
All right.
Anyway,
Thanks, Rob.
the story is by is by Tristan Cork, who is the senior reporter.
Right. Okay.
It's from the 17th of May, so it's going back a month or so.
Can you imagine that day you got home, Rob? Yes, I made senior reporter.
It's one of those where I imagine him telling his parents, and his parents is just sort of turning to him and just shrugging.
Yes.
And and that was it. That's the end of that conversation.
What does that mean? Yeah, they say to me, what does that mean? It means I don't have to be the one who drives around and tests chips from fish and chip shops anymore. It's that kind of thing. Oh, I don't have to. What was the story you had last week? Wasn't there that headline that never made it about the local news reporters who tested out what would it be like, what would it feel like to be a hot dog in a hot car? So they sat in a hot car for 30 minutes with all the windows turned up as an experiment. 2 of them, no less.
That's correct. I'm not going to spoil things for later, but I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, all right. I'm excited.
Okay. So, headline. Mystery as woman finds goldfish flapping on her doorstep. Now, I have to say, this is not a euphemism.
Goldfish flapping on her doorstep. But somebody just left a dying goldfish on her doorstep. Is this some sort of campaign of intimidation? A lover's a lover's fury visited on her doorstep? A spurned lover, I mean?
Alex, that's where your mind went. I don't understand, because this could be a lovely gift.
Yeah.
It was still alive, thankfully.
Did you get the goldfish I sent you?
Oh, was that you?
Yeah. It was in an envelope.
Yeah, that was very much dead. But
it was dead.
It was a lovely meal.
I sent you a dead goldfish.
Right. Yeah. Okay. As I said, we appreciated it. I mean, Sarah and I didn't go hungry that evening.
Yep. Good.
So, mystery surrounds the discovery made by a woman in Cheltenham who opened her front door to find a goldfish flapping on her doorstep.
Isn't Cheltenham where you grew up, Rob? Or is that Chelmsford?
I was born in Cheltenham, and I'm from Gloucestershire originally, not from Chelmsford, which is, as everyone knows, the county town of Essex. But that's fine. Any comments?
No.
Good. The fish, which was still alive, was saved by the woman with a washing up bowl full of water, and now the search is on for someone who might be missing a fish.
Sorry, did you say they saved the fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fish was still alive.
Right.
The RSPCA have taken the fish in to look after it.
No. Hang on, Rob. Is that a joke? Did you just make that up?
No.
The RSPCA have taken in the goldfish to look after it. Why couldn't she look after the fucking goldfish? Only a goldfish.
She doesn't need a goldfish, Alex.
Rob, can you keep...
She's got her own problems.
Can you keep a goldfish in a jar? Like, if I had a jar like this, Rob, just a normal-sized jar, this one's filled with buttons, but if it was filled with water, could I just keep a goldfish in there? Would it care?
I think, first of all, I just have to make it absolutely clear, you cannot keep a goldfish in a jar full of buttons.
No, that's not what I'm asking, but could you?
You could, but you'd obviously need to change the water. I think, don't they need filtered water as well?
I don't know. Do they?
I've never had a goldfish, Alex. I never saw the point, to be honest. So the RSPCA apparently said that it may well have been left by a cat, or even plucked from a pond and then dropped by a bird.
Well, the RSPCA aren't police. It isn't their job to speculate on potential crimes, right, with their half-baked theories.
It's a good point. The bizarre discovery was made by a woman on Friday as she stepped out of her house in the Presbury area of Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, after her initial surprise at finding a still alive goldfish on her doorstep in Buttercross Lane. What a lovely place to live. It sounds really quite idyllic. Her quick thinking saved...
Probably just full of crack dens.
Yeah, possibly. Sure. Yeah, maybe maybe
Gloucester's rife with them, Rob.
That is true. Maybe, who knows, Alex? Maybe this goldfish was some sort of warning from a rival gang that they're coming after her goldfish.
The goldfish crew. I think
the goldfish crew. Can you? I don't know. I'm struggling to believe that there would be like a County Lines, gang called the Goldfish Crew, and their calling card is they leave a still alive goldfish on your doorstep.
The trouble is, Rob, we've just given a lot of people a lot of ideas. A lot of very bad people, a lot of very bad ideas.
So her quick thinking saved the little swimmer before the RSPCA inspector, Richard Carr, arrived. This was not your usual type of animal rescue call, he said, with the degree of understatement. This is exactly what the article says. My first ever stray fish. The caller discovered the goldfish flapping around on a doorstep. We don't know if it been brought by a cat or dropped by a bird. Thankfully, she was able to put the fish in her washing up bowl and gave us a call. She has spoken to her neighbours.
I just find it incredible she called the RSPCA. I find it even more incredible they picked up. Why didn't she just flush it down the loo if she didn't want it?
Alex, this animal was still alive. Where is your humanity?
With the fish. It's not human, Rob.
Yeah. It's a good point. What I love is he's gone into some detail about the condition of the fish. The fish has some damage on the sides and is missing quite a few scales, but it's swimming okay in a quarantine aquarium with some treatment to hopefully aid recovery.
Did you say a quarantined aquarium? Why does it need to be quarantined? Yes. Why it's got COVID?
Because the fish may have COVID. Yes, Alex, that's exactly
it. Fish
COVID. Can get COVID.
Right, okay.
Apparently. I don't know if that's true. If anyone has any information or is missing a goldfish in the Presbury area, please get in touch with the RSPCA, who apparently have nothing better to do.
Who funds the RSPCA, Rob? They're self-funded, I assume. So do they rely on donations?
I think they're a charitable organisation, Alex. So we could donate to them if you'd like.
Right. If any of you are thinking of donating to the RSPCA, could you visit our website, lapodcast.net, and hit the donate button in the top right-hand corner and donate to this podcast instead? Thank you. Okay, Rob, you got another story for us. No, I didn't mean that. If you want to donate to the RSPCA, please do so. I mean, of course.
Yeah, although maybe I think there are probably better animal charities out there.
No, we can't say that either, Rob. We can't, and we take that back. I'm sure they do a lot of good work. It's just the stories we tend to get of this variety.
Alex, they turned up and they rescued a goldfish, and now it's being quarantined.
Update.
I am literally stating facts.
Maybe they have to put it down. That injection.
Yeah, that's next. Yeah, just take it outside and stamp on it. Can I just say I am by no means suggesting that the RSPCA do that. That's
you just did
said in. Yeah, but it's obviously in jest. I'm sure they have humane ways of putting animals down.
You don't need to put it down. Yeah. You just stick it in a canal, don't you? And it will be fine.
I don't think that canals are the natural habitat of goldfish. I don't know that. I mean, that might be.
It's where I used to get taken fishing as a kid.
Yeah, but I don't think I need to say anything else about that. Right, anyway, my next story is from HuffPost. It's originally from the Associated Press. Therefore,
would you mind, Rob, not being one of those? Would you mind not being one of those people? Could we give it its full title? I know they like to call themselves HuffPost, but it is the Huffington Post. It was originally that. And I just think HuffPost sounds stupid. Where is Huffington?
Yeah, okay,
where is Huffington anyway?
It's not an actual place. Right. It's just. I think it's named after the founder, isn't it? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it or care. There's no journalist listed. The headline: Man rescued after 2 days stuck inside giant fan at California vineyard.
What? Giant fan?
Yes.
2 days.
2 days, yeah. It's like a wind turbine. He was stuck inside it for 2 days.
Okay.
So Santa Rosa, California, authorities rescue a man who'd been trapped for 2 days inside a large fan at a North California vineyard.
Do you know what's really weird, Rob? Is I've got a story after this about a woman who got stuck in something. How odd is that?
I think there's just, Alex, we're still technically under lockdown. I think people are looking for the things to do. And why not get inside things to see what they look like? I think we've all considered it. The man was discovered on Tuesday by a deputy responding to a call about a suspicious vehicle parked near the winery in San Rosa. The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office said in a statement.
Oh, it's Sonoma. Okay, yeah. I'm aware of that region of the world, yeah.
Okay. The deputy saw a hat on a piece of farming equipment and then found the man stuck inside the shaft of a vineyard fan. Firefighters rescued him. The man indicated he'd like to take pictures of the engines of old farm equipment, the statement said. After a thorough investigation which revealed the farm equipment wasn't antique, the man had far more methamphetamine than camera equipment. The motivation to climb into the fan shaft remains a total mystery.
So sorry, this is a guy high on meth. Give me the summary because I'm a bit lost, Rob.
So he maintains that he'd like to take pictures of old farming equipment, but after investigation, it turns that he had no camera equipment on him, and the farming equipment wasn't antique, and he was just high on meth.
Right. God.
It unfortunately doesn't say obviously why he decided to get into it. The 38-year-old man required medical treatment, but is expected to make a full recovery. The man will be charged with trespassing and drug possession, as well as violations of a probation case. The statement said, vineyard fans are used to circulate air across vines to help grapes from freezing during colder months.
What does it mean he got stuck in it?
I mean, he was Alex, if you look at the picture, you can literally see he was literally inside the pipe.
Give me the headline.
Man rescued after 2 days stuck inside giant fan at California vineyard. So if you can imagine a wind turbine and the central column, he was inside that.
Hang on a minute, Rob. HuffPost, here we go. Oh my!
If you scroll down,
oh my God! Why is his leg? I've got a picture of a leg sticking out of a metal cylinder.
Yes.
Oh my God! He's inside it. What's he doing in there? Why did he get in there?
It doesn't. We don't know, Alex. Unfortunately, it's a mystery.
How did anybody know? How did anybody know he was there? Did he just call out for help repeatedly?
No, apparently as the story states, there was a report of a suspicious vehicle, which was investigated by the sheriff's office. They found a hat on a piece of farm equipment, and then found the man stuck inside the shaft of the fan.
I think this was some kind of fetish.
Quite possibly.
About being in confined spaces, because we need to describe that the width of that cylinder isn't much bigger than a human. I mean, he's in there pretty tight, Rob.
I mean, Alex, it's not beyond the realms of possibility to say that he may have masturbated in there at some stage.
What if somebody had turned on the fan?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming, it doesn't bear thinking about. I mean, from the pictures, it looks like there was room to maneuver. And I don't know whether the majority of it are on the top of the fan as opposed to in the body of it, but I don't know.
Right. Okay.
I've got one final story. I'm not going to read out the whole story because, to be honest, we've kind of done it to death. But there was one paragraph that I really wanted to read because I found it entertaining. It is from the Liverpool Echo. It's from today. I thought it was earlier this actually, but it's from today. It is by Kate Lally, who is the senior district reporter, if anyone cares. And the headline: Mum's Pontins holiday with kids ruined by pissed up parents and drugs everywhere.
This is another fucking Pontins story. This must be about our 6th now, Rob, in local anaesthetic history.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Now, Alex, I said, I'm not going to read the whole story. I just want to read a couple of sentences because you can get a gist of exactly what the story's about. But this bit just made me laugh. So, she told the Echo the drugs were being freely smoked everywhere.
Rob, who's going to Pontins over COVID?
Good question. It's a very good question.
Right, anyway, sorry.
And why would you want to?
So
drugs were freely being smoked everywhere you turn. Kids were running wild until the early hours. parents were pissed up, no masks were being worn, bottles of spirits being brought into the park and drank in the entertainment area on clear show. However, it is the next paragraph. The door guard didn't have a badge and refused to deal with the weed. He said it wasn't his job. So I asked, what is your job then? To which he replied, clearly a better job than yours because I don't have to holiday in Pontins.
Whoa! Oh, the Pontins
What
security
a remark.
guard. The Pontins security guard tells the truth. Yes.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Clearly a better job than yours because I don't have to holiday in Pontins. She was told, again, just to reiterate, she was told that by the door guard at Pontins.
I wonder if he's still in that position. Not standing by the door, I mean, in terms of his job.
I suspect not. But yeah, let's leave that story there.
Right, well, Rob, I've got a story for you here from BuzzFeed News by Adi Onibeda. It was from the 11th of June, because you were just talking about a man stuck in that winery fan, whatever it was called.
Yep.
Headline, woman who got stuck in a chair while making fetish content had to be freed with the jaws of life.
Right, okay. How do you get stuck in a chair?
Well, she gets stuck in it deliberately, Rob, for fetish content.
Is she actually in the chair? What? Is that what it is?
A woman who got stuck in a folding chair. So I've got a picture of her. I want you to imagine, Rob. Imagine a folding chair, Rob. Imagine you're standing up. I want you to imagine you're standing upright.
Okay.
And you're holding a folding chair, but you're holding it on its side, right? So that the legs open in front of you, and then you know it's got. How the fuck do I describe this? Okay, let me start again.
Would it be easier for me just to Google the story?
Well, it would be, but I wouldn't describe it for the listener, Rob. I want to see if I can get you to understand this. Okay, imagine a folding chair put on the floor, Rob. You know you've got the legs, and then you know you've got the support beam that runs horizontally, like midway across the legs.
Yeah.
Now imagine sliding yourself into that gap between the support beam and the actual bit of the chair you sit on, and then standing upright with it all slotted over you. So the chair is sticking out horizontally, but the legs are wrapped kind of round you because you're trapped in the horizontal, between the horizontal support beam and the seat. Does that make sense?
I'm with you. Yep.
Right.
It does.
That's how she got stuck. She had to be freed, but she was making, Rob, stuck fetish content. I've done dozens of videos. I've had times before where I've panicked and thought I couldn't get out of something, but I've always pushed myself through it, no matter how bad it hurts. Sydney Joe told BuzzFeed News. I've had to unscrew things before, but I've never been entirely stuck like that. It was honestly really scary. Joe, who lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan, made an appeal on TikTok for advice after getting trapped between a black folding chair. So, if you're stuck in this kind of emergency situation, her answer, Rob, is to appeal for help on TikTok.
Yeah, that would be my first port of call. I mean, first of all, I have to obviously download the app, and I have to log in, create a user profile, because, as I said before, I'm not 15. But yeah, that seems like, I mean, how old is this woman, did you say?
It doesn't. I mean, she doesn't look old. She looks young, maybe early 20s. She says I generally pick areas that I'm pretty sure I can get out of. And I saw the chair and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get out of that. It's going to be a tight squeeze, but I'm positive I can get out. She said she was about 30 minutes into making the video. 30 minutes when she realised she couldn't free herself. That's when I stopped recording and kind of panicked and went on TikTok live. The 27-year-old shared that she'd been creating content for the fetish community for 9 years. So since she was, that would be 18, Rob, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Which is fine.
And she'd grown a following for her stuck clips in particular. Fans will pay, Rob, $2 a minute to watch creators like herself place themselves in compromising positions and then try and get free. Typically, she says, they want to see you get stuck in something and actually struggle to get out, like not fake it at all. They want to see you get unstuck at the end, though. They don't want to see you permanently stuck. So have you heard about this stuck fetish before, Rob? I can't think what it could be, like sticking your head and sort of upper torso in a washing machine, that kind of thing. I mean, free good money here, Rob. You could do it.
True, yeah. I mean, first of all, I've never heard of it. It's not something that appeals to me, but we're not here to kink shame, so, go crazy.
No, I am. I think this is fucking weird. On this occasion, Jo found herself completely unable to break free. On the advice of her TikTok audience, she made a call to the fire department. So the TikTok audience, Rob, gave her good advice. You need to call the fire brigade. The TikTok clip, which has now been viewed more than 7 million times, shows Rob firefighters arriving at a home. After failing to free with bolt cutters, they changed tactics and used the jaws of life instead. I was freaking out when it was behind my back, and I was like listening to it because I could feel the metal like vibrating on my bones and stuff, and I was just praying to God that I wasn't going to get like severed, Joe said. Now, Rob, here's the thing. If all these people were still logged in, these fetish enthusiasts would have had a field day. Watching the fire brigade free from... I mean, you want an unstuck video? Here you go. The fire brigade freeing you from the jaws of life. A terrified woman, Rob, with metal vibrating and everything.
Alex, this woman is a moron. I'm sorry. But, I've got... Yeah.
Well, Rob, she just says, it blows my mind. I've had so many people from the stuck fetish community reach out to me saying they saw the TikTok and they really appreciate how dedicated I am to my work. So that was really cool too. I wonder where this fetish comes from, Rob.
No, Alex, I'm sorry. She wasn't dedicated to her work. She got stuck in a fucking chair. That's not dedication. She didn't intend to do this.
It is, Rob. I think on Thursday nights we should all go out and clap her.
No. Every week on this podcast, I get to a point where I'm just thinking, I really despair for humanity. Usually, it comes after we finish recording. Sometimes during, but slowly, it's really getting me down.
Okay. It's time now for our listener story of the week. I'm afraid I forgot to bring my purple rod down with me to Dorset, so I cannot. I feel bad, Rob, because I promised to make you these lovely original compositions on the recorder for Lyra to commemorate every 2 weeks or whatever it is, whenever we do this podcast of her life. And this time round, I won't be able to do it, so you'll have to explain to her that on this occasion that couldn't happen. But I'm sure she'll get over it in time.
Alex, thank you for the apology. It's really not needed. If you forget your recorder again, it's not a problem. I mean, if last week's was the last performance of your unique compositions, so be it. Yeah,
that's nice of you to say, Rob, and I'm pleased you're taking it in your stride. But I know how much I mean to you and to Sarah and to Lyra, so we shall persevere on. Right, Rob, who's the story from this week? Our listener story of the week.
Alex, I feel we need some context beforehand. So last week, obviously, as you already mentioned on the podcast, we featured a local news story about two journalists who wanted to simulate what happens to a hot dog in a hot car, or just to a dog in a car when it's hot. And we thought that was a new low for local news journalism. But there's a story I found which I thought was possibly worse, but then Khyber's gone and knocked out of the park by finding, what really is the lowest of the low.
So are we going to do your low point or the one that Khyber found?
We're doing both. So I'll do mine first and then we'll move on to Khyber's.
All right.
Okay, so...
I kind of feel like I want to guess. Like, local news journalists want to know what it's like to be a drug addict, so one of us volunteered to get hooked on heroin, and now our life is ruined, that kind of thing.
No, not quite that bad. I think that there might be some moral implications there. So the one I found, which is from the My London website, which is basically the live version of news across the capital, is by Neha Gohill, who actually put herself through this. It is from the 15th of June, and the headline is, I used the London Underground on the hottest day of the year to find out which line is the most unbearable, and I nearly passed out.
I can tell you the answer to that.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Bakerloo.
Not according to her research, Alex.
Oh, Bakerloo is fucking boiling. I love it, though.
So,
okay, then did she go for the Central line?
She went for... Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you the lines that she travelled on. So she did...
well, unless you travelled all of them, this isn't a proper experiment, is it?
Well, true. District line, Piccadilly line, Northern line, Bakerloo line, Jubilee line, Central line. So it wasn't all of them.
It has to be Central.
Correct. The gong for the hottest, the most uncomfortable tube journey goes to the Central line. The journey was horrible, and I definitely thought I was going to pass out. This could be due to the fact that I've been commuting on the Underground non-stop for almost an hour, or the temperatures on the Central Line.
What is it with all the windows on the Central Line tube trains being tinted? That black tint. Have you ever noticed? It's very strange.
Yeah, I have.
I think it's like the fetish train. It's like that's where you can get up to stuff and nobody knows from the outside.
Because obviously I used to use the Central Line more or less every day because that's my main route into work. And
I always felt bad for you, mate.
So I didn't mind it too much because I used to get the District and Circle, which for those not in the know used to have newer trains have air conditioning. So I used to get that to Mile End, and then most of it was outside after that, thankfully. However, there was on one occasion when there was a power cut on the Central Line, and everything went out.
Yeah,
literally, there were no lights. And also I realised at that point that the Central Line does actually have some degree of air conditioning. It is very minimal. It is ineffective. But when that stops on a hot day, the temperature goes up very, very quickly. So that was fun. Anyway, look. So that was the story I found. If anyone is in any delusion, she says, in the meantime, bring your water and fans to avoid a similar fate, and maybe enjoy London's tube network in the sweltering heat. So
what a pointless endeavour this was again. Let's see if... and it's so unscientific. She didn't even use a thermometer, Rob. Hang on, Alex. We don't know that. Let's go. I haven't read the story because what's the point? Did she use a thermometer? No, she didn't know. No, she just wanted to see how hot it was. So there we are. There's that story. But then this from Khyber, which is from it's also from the My London website. Brilliant. It's the same website. The journalist is Rimul Bala, who is apparently a news journalist. News reporter, even. It is from the 11th of May. And are you ready for this headline? Hit me, Rob. My body is ready.
I compared Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda and Morrison's shopping trolleys, and one shop can be extremely proud of itself.
What does that mean, I compared them? What, like prices or...?
No, he compared their durability, the way they handle...
The shopping trolleys! You don't mean a trolley full of food?
No, the shopping trolleys.
This is some guys sitting around in a room who've got nothing to cover, scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas. Should we compare like supermarket shop? No, it's been done already. No, but like what's cheapest? No. What about like the environment of the supermarket, like, or the staff? No. What about the shopping trolleys? What do you mean? Like, should we just see like what's more durable, what handles better, like a Top Gear for shopping trolleys? Great idea. Is that what's happened here, Rob?
Yep. So he literally went to 4 different supermarkets to review the shopping trolleys. This is a new low, right? This is a new low.
I've got a good story about this, Rob. About a month ago, I went to my local Aldi. Do you say Aldi or Aldi? I think I say Aldi.
Aldi, yeah, I say Aldi.
Or no, maybe I say Aldi. I can't remember. I think I.
It doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah, it varies. Anyway, I went to my local Aldi, and it was that horrible feeling, Rob, where I realised I'd forgotten to bring my pound for the shopping trolley. Because as people who don't live in London might not know this, but if you live in London, you have to put a pound in to use a shopping trolley. You do get it back afterwards. In a lot of areas outside London, where people are generally more trustworthy, that isn't always the case. So, for example, Rob, at my parents' local supermarket, there is no such pound thing. You can just take the trolley.
It's the same. It's the same in Bishop Stortford. I would like to say that both the Waitrose, the Tesco's, and the Sainsbury's, the trolleys are free of charge.
And they're free of charge in London too, Rob. You get your pound back.
Yeah, but you don't need a pound coin or some sort of trolley token.
The whole idea of it in London is to stop people stealing trolleys, because that can and does happen. So I was walking towards Aldi, Rob, with my shopping bags, praying and hoping that somehow, because I need to do a big shop, that somehow somebody had left a trolley lying around. And lo and behold, Rob, sitting outside the entrance, as if my prayers had been answered, Rob, was a Sainsbury's trolley. Now, there is a Sainsbury's near to the Aldi, and it was just sitting there. I thought, I cannot believe this. I put my bags in, really happy, went to move it, but the thing would not move, Rob. Or it would move, but kind of, it basically, like when it's too far away from whatever the Sainsbury's system is, the wheels get locked.
And it locks the brakes. Yeah, it locks wheels, yeah.
It was absolutely useless. I tried dragging it behind me, no joy, Rob. So I discard that trolley. And as I'm standing there, Rob, cursing my luck again, my prayers are answered, Rob, where in the distance, in the very far distance, I see a trolley just sitting there. I walk up to it, Rob, and it is a B&Q trolley. Orange handle, B&Q logos emblazoned across it, just sat there. It's absolutely enormous because it's the kind of trolley that, you'd put in big planks of wood and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that moves, Rob. It works. And I take that with me into Aldi. And throughout my whole trip, my whole way round Aldi, got very strange looks from both the customers and the people who worked there as I wandered around Aldi with my huge B&Q trolley. But I would like to say it handled well. It was a big beast. It was like when you play as Donkey Kong on Mario Kart, heavy, hard to corner, but it got the job done, Rob.
Now, Alex, you don't strike me as a man who's ever been to Costco. Is that fair?
No. My parents go to Costco a lot, but I haven't never been.
Right. So I always, when visiting Costco, which I do on a regular basis, at least every month or so, maybe probably every 2 months, their shopping trolleys always make me feel like a child because they are oversized, they are enormous. Yeah. Alex, let's get into this because people need to know which shopping trolley comes out on top.
Can you give me the brands again, and let me tell you, let me make a prediction.
Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, Morrison's.
Oh, shit. No Waitrose? God almighty. I've never been to a Morrison's. Read them out again.
Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, Morrison's.
I have a feeling Tesco might come out on top here, but come on.
So shopping trolleys are the bastion of the supermarket world. Without them, we'd be lunging around, pints of milk and kilos of rice in our hands as they go red under the pressure. This is exactly how this article is written, by the way. Trolleys are the understated chariots we fail to appreciate.
Right.
We probably all taken a ride in one when we were kids too.
Yes.
But which shop has the best trolleys? I went to a few of the major supermarkets to find out. Sainsbury's. First off was Sainsbury's in Chadwell Heath. I parked up and noticed a few trolley sections, some conveniently located in the disabled bays. However, some of the trolley parking spaces, which were quite spacious, had very few or very little trolleys in them. You had to pay £1 to use their trolleys. Sorry, this is just ridiculous. You had to pay £1 to use the trolleys, which would probably be the theme throughout this mini expedition. The ones I saw looked pretty sturdy. No wheels were missing, and there were some different sizes, though I struggled to find ones for kids. Overall trolley vibe, 6.5 out of 10.
Vibe? I want to know, what about its handling?
It doesn't say.
Oh, right, right, okay. So did he test the trolley out or not then?
Well, he did. I mean, he did say, he says at the beginning.
Or was he just wandering around car parks staring at trolleys and not using them like some weird trolley pervert?
Like some sort of weird fetish. He does say, there's a tagline saying he doesn't get in them. Which is probably fair. So Tesco's in Goodmayes is a much bigger store, and clearly the amount of trolleys there superseded the much smaller Sainsbury's. There are trolley sections pretty much everywhere in the car park, with a middle aisle bit dedicated to the different sorts of trolleys. Here were housed parents with kids' trolleys, bigger ones, and more narrow ones.
I can't hear any more of this fucking story. I'm going to terminate it now. I am bored out of my wits' end. He didn't even test the trolleys. All he's going round is looking at car parks, seeing how many trolleys they've got, and then saying what the vibe he gets is from the trolleys. This article is absolutely pointless. I'm not hearing any more of it. No.
Alex, there was debris in the Tesco trolleys. Right, let me give you the scores, okay? So, Tesco's, 8 out of 10.
Told you.
So, Asda, a solid 8.5 out of 10. And then finally, Morrison's. He says that apparently the quality of the trolleys was impressive. And it scored. Are you ready for this?
9.5 out of
10. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10. How did you know that?
Right, okay, thank you, Kai, but Jesus. Right, okay. All right, that brings us to the end of this episode of LA Podcast. We look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 340, which will be a listener story special as we move ever more forward, Rob. Like a cat. Once thought dead. Cremated, in fact. Mysteriously finding its way home. To be forever known as Fleesus. Fleesus?
Fleesus. Right. Yeah, like Jesus. Fleesus.
I get it. Thanks, Rob.
Clever.
I get it. Yeah, just like that, and move ever more forward to our next episode, which will be episode 340, as I say. We can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. We're on Spotify. We're on all your podcast apps. Wherever you're listening to us from, please subscribe. Please review us on there if you can. We're on Twitter at LA Podcast. We have a Facebook account, facebook.com/LA Podcast, where there is also a forum. I think that's about it. Rob, it's his time. Oh, if you want to email us a story, you can still get in there for the listener story special, by the way. lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. It is time, Rob, for the headlines, which never made it. How many you got? I've got 4.
Just 2, because I've featured a lot of other stories this week.
No more than usual. But anyway, Japanese man deported from Turkey for eating cats. Couldn't feature that. It was too horrific. But
probably fair.
Yeah. He's basically been eating cats in Turkey, so he's been deported.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We've all done it. I think his mistake was getting caught.
Woman shocked when sofa throw for Dunelm comes complete with poo attached.
Sorry. Why did you not read that story? I know I say this to you every week.
That's it. There's nothing else to it. She bought a throw, and there was literally a turd sort of woven into it. It was quite impressive.
What do you mean woven into it?
Well, there was a dried bit of fecal matter on the throw. And Dunelm. Yeah.
Petition urging Jeff Bezos to buy and eat the Mona Lisa gained steam. You heard of this?
What?
There's a petition online where people are saying they want Jeff Bezos to buy the Mona Lisa and eat it.
Right. Okay.
They don't like it. They don't like it, Rob. It's tongue in cheek.
Right. Okay. And unfortunately, my last one. Gloucestershire mum autocorrect blunder after accidentally telling the DWP she's a prostitute.
Okay. Fast food staff arrested for not giving police free burgers. That happened in Pakistan. They were rounded up and arrested, Rob.
That seems unfair.
Yeah. And last headline of the week, which never made it. Toronto rallies to save tiny kitten who was born without a butthole. What a fitting way.
No, you can't tell that.
What a fitting way. I'm not saying anything. What a fitting way. There's something which Rob and I can't mention there. Not involving either one of us, we should say.
No.
We both... we both are very proud, Rob, aren't we, of our anuses. Just like that. No, we've done that.
Oh, the ways to end an episode. Can I just say, just want to put out there, I'm so proud of my anus.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody. We've really enjoyed your company as always. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. God bless.
And keep it local.